You can see Gehrden is about half an hour southwest of Hanover, and we stayed in Lemmy, which is a small village about 20 minutes by train. An edifice, there's Jutta with her new haircut. And this is the whole of Lemmy station. And that's the arrivals on the other side. We stayed just outside. It was a 5-minute walk up to the hotel. Gehrden, because there's a huge exhibition in Hanover, and every hotel within 30 miles is fully booked up. After we settled in, we decided to walk to Gehrden, which is about 3 miles away, and this is some of the views. Of Gehrden. And that's Gehrden there, that's Gehrden Hill behind it, and that's Hanover over there. Well, we have arrived at the start of Gehrden. Now, what excitement does it hold for us? Well, this looks more like an old village. This is getting towards the center of Gehrden. We've just been to visit the State Museum, and these were some of the pictures I took from inside the museum of the old life in the early days. Gives you some idea. Gehrden is still a small town. As you see, only had 800 people in the 1800s. This, I think, are some of the older buildings. And then we're going to head for St. Margaret's Church. And that's St. Margaret's Church, which I think is the main Protestant church from 1200, and looks like the town square. Now we look to see if there's a cemetery. So this is where I started my searches, at the Rathaus, and they were very helpful. And eventually I was passed on to the church, which is here, and I went into this building here, and there I found the registers of births and deaths, and found the certificate of, I'm pretty sure is his birth certificate. And that's 12 o'clock ringing. They shut at 12 o'clock, so I had to get out. Now this is the other side of Gehrden. I'm going to try and walk to the cemetery and see if I can see anything there. So this is the nice bits of Gehrden. The rest of it is pretty tatty. Looks like council housing, very recently produced. But this is the center of the old town. I subsequently found that great-great-grandfather Maseberg's father was buried in Ivalo. Well, I've taken myself off to the cemetery to have a look around the gravestones and see if by any luck I find a Maseberg. So I went to the wrong graveyard. Had to wait half an hour for the bus to get back, and now I'm back in Gehrden, and we'll have another go at this one. Well, it's a nice little churchyard, but I've had no luck walking round. I think most of them are more recent. I'll go tomorrow and see if there's a register of... I had to catch the early 9 o'clock bus, as the library only opened between 10 and 12. So this is on our way into Gehrden by bus. And as you can see from the outskirts, it's very ordinary. We now go past an old park which must have been here in the 1830s. This is the nice quaint bits of Gehrden. It's just 9 o'clock now. I'm going to get two other quite nice houses just off the main square of gehrden. But a lot of it is just sort of like council housing. This is a little further up. I think this is not again typical of most of the modern housing, which is very much sort of in council type housing. Go to the archives again to see if I can get any more information. Well, this is the treasure trove I've been let into in the basement of the Rotz town hall of Gehrden. And I wish I could read German, and I wish I could understand all of them. I'm sure there is some information here, but I probably won't find it. And I'll go back to the church and see.
Hello.
This is the treasure chest of the church.
Ach so, das sind die Eheleute Grimms, ne? Ja. Mhm. Da hätte ich heute auch noch mal angerufen. Da wollte ich nämlich mal wissen, ob die Eltern Blumenschmuck machen. Ja.
This was their set of books which I used, and this was the family register which I got most of the information from. And here you can see the this is the death certificate of the father, and this is the birth certificate of Ernest Heinrich Friedrich Maseberg. This was the marriage certificate in the original Gothic, and then the German translation, and then the English translation. So this is what we know of the family tree. Great-great-grandfather was born Ernest Heinrich Friedrich, but for some reason he seemed to take on his father's name as Friedrich Maseberg, and then, as you can see, the rest of the family follows down the line. The staff of the Rathaus at Gehrden are being particularly helpful, particularly Mr. Storr. He says there are no records before 1850, and it may be that he was buried in Ronneberg, and they are investigating that at the moment.